Don't ask me for relationship advice because
Okay,
my
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
advice is either break up, get a divorce, or throw him down the stairs. Don't ask me for relationship advice because my advice is either break up, get a divorce, or throw him down the stairs.
That is why I recommend sisters to not go to these self-declared social media influencers, okay? They're just no good. You see them as being quite competent online and showing their lifestyle. And a lot of sisters get deceived and they go to these influencers to get some advice about their life. And guess what? These women give them only personal opinions, the outcomes of their hormonal changes, and at best, some experience that they've had, which is in many cases traumatic. Problems with their father, with their ex-husband, rejection, and maybe growing up as an ugly duckling and feeling insecure. And then obviously society has capitalized on that by, opening the hijab and putting a lot of makeup on. So I advise sisters to go to, if they want to go to women who are grounded in the Quran and Sunnah, and hopefully those who will put the correct principles of counseling and nasiha above their hormones and emotions, or go to mashayikh and men who have the proper understanding and the proper background information through the proper means, of course, and so on. It is very, very common where these social media influencing women, they take the position of counselors, but they're just pseudo counselors. They have no qualifications. They might have done a little here, there, diploma, or they have no clue about male or female psychology. And of course, a lot of them have no clue about Islam, and that's the main thing. They're like, well, I'm a Muslim. Yeah, that's great. Ahlan wa sahlan. But the reality is, it doesn't stop there and just declaring yourself as a Muslim. It's like, what did you learn from Islam, and how do you apply that? And sadly, some women, they just obviously don't feel comfortable to come to men to talk to them. So they scroll to social media, they go online, and they see these women. They see these women talking, and there's, let me ask the sister. And these women give them the horrible. They break up marriages, they break up lives, they break up the brains of these sisters who might be sincerely seeking for some help. The Prophet said, ad-deen nasiha. This deen is advice. I'll seek advice from the right channels. This is my advice to the sister. Let's listen to Sheikh Abdul Rahman speaking about this a little bit, because it's very important how some sisters come from, mashallah, a very humble background. They understand, they respect their husbands, they're good, but then they meet some of these kind of sisters, and at least this sister is honest. At least this sister is honest. At least I appreciate that. You have to understand. A lot of these other sisters, they will try to twist things and will give you the wrong ideas, put it in your brain, disseminate them in your brain, and destroy your life. Many, many cases where sisters come from back home, from a humble background, women will be like, oh yeah, but they never understood the reality and they're oppressed because they don't have knowledge. And, yeah, right. No, they understood what marriage is, as it's been for thousands of years. It's an exchange. It is, you bring your rights and responsibilities, I bring mine, and we work together, and we don't separate for the smallest, stupidest things because, oh, I think you must be oppressed. Why? Oh, you're cooking and cleaning? Don't you know that in the Hanafi method, there's 3 types of women? They shouldn't be cooking and cleaning. Your husband must be a horrible man. And then those things, well, they do influence a person, just like the movie Barbie influenced half of the world of women just from 2 hours of conditionally brainwashing. 2 hours has destroyed so many Muslim women and women in general. Yes, the brain is so susceptible to conditioning instruction, especially in the female mind. May Allah protect. Let's watch the clip from Shaykh Abdul Rahman, and you can understand what he means.
She's in the masjid, they will pray. A new woman came into the masjid, not seen before. They interrogated her. They asked her a question. They said, listen, where are you from? We haven't seen you around. She's like, I'm fresh. I just come from the country. She's like, I don't know the area very well. But she described it, and they finally came to know where she lives. They say, how do you live? Do you have children? Are you married? Where's your husband? Questions after questions. First of all, that's none of their business. It's got nothing to do with them. Everyone wants to know what this other person's personal life is. The sister told them, I've come here, I live here, my husband brought me. They said to her, where's your income? Where do you get money from? She said, my husband works. What about your children? I think she mentioned 5 or something. So they said to her, do you know that you're entitled to have money for your children? She said, no, I didn't know that. Yeah, the government gives you money. Even if your husband works, he's full-time working, there's money that you're entitled to have for your children. This is something that the government permits for you. Sister, no, I didn't know that. No, my husband gives us everything. No, sister, these are things that you should have. It's your haq. You need to grow up, take experience from us. They went as far as getting her to call her husband whilst in the masjid. Ask him, right now. She called him and she said, is it true that you take this money? Why haven't you told me? Why am I hearing it now for the first time? He said, do I not provide for you? What does it matter? I'm the Rabbul Bayt. This sister is now interrogating her husband. Why? Because of what these other sisters have told her in the masjid, the house of Allah. The husband gets angry on the phone and goes, listen, you know what? You're divorced. They've led that sister to leave the country. He said, if you're saying this to me now and you've not even been here for a while, what are you going to do a few years into this marriage and a few years living in this country? You're just going to give me a headache. Go back to the country. Again, what he did, what is he doing? It's not I'm not talking about judging between the two of them now, but I just want to show you the masjid, the women in the masjid to get involved in that type of